So, advancement in transport has made our travel very much comfortable. So, we can travel from one place to other place very comfortably and in a very short period also. Even then, if I have to travel by car, it really becomes very much uncomfortable for me because I am not so comfortable while traveling in car. Because I suffer from motion sickness, so I usually avoid car journey. But once I had no other option than to go in a car, that too for a long journey. Actually, a few months ago, my dad's friend had to come from abroad, and my brother had thought to go to Delhi to receive him, and Delhi is about 6 hours away from my place. And as my brother was going alone, he insisted that I should also go with him. I tried a lot, I because I didn't want to go, but somehow he convinced me, and I had to go. And as my brother, he's having very good driving skills, and he knows a lot about traffic, about routes. So he chose night time to travel, and because he told me that at the night time there were traffic used to be less at on the roads. And as we started in the car, I was really very much panicked, but I was really amazed to see the driving skills of my brother. He drove the car so smoothly. From time to time, he took a break to give me some refreshment, to have fresh air. And on the way where there were good sceneries, he even halted there also. And very soon, those 5 or 6 hours just flew away, and I didn't come to know when I reached Delhi. And though I was very much paranoid about traveling in a car, but at that time it really changed my opinion that because I didn't come to know how smooth it was when I traveled in a car and I went for that long journey. As nowadays every place is becoming lot of noiser, though there is a rule which has been passed in our country that there should be no noise after 11 p.m. especially, so that people can have good sleep, but still people hardly bother about that law. I remember during my pre boards in class 12th, I had to suffer a very worst situation because of playing of music by using loudspeakers in my neighborhood. Actually, some of my neighbors, they were celebrating something, and they were playing music at high volume, and my pre boards were going over there. It had become very much difficult for me to focus on my studies. I went to them. I requested them to play the music at little bit low volume, but they totally ignored my request. And I was just waiting that till 11 they would stop, and then I would be able to study. But even it was past 11, they didn't stop. On the contrary, they put the volume even more louder, just to bother the others. So I was having no other option at the time. I just made a call to the police, and the police came there as I was correct. So police also was with me. They told those persons, my neighbors, that it was not allowed to play music at that high volume, that too after 11 p.m. So with the intervention of the police, my neighbors had to stop, though they were cribbing and they were glaring at me, but at least I was relaxed after the noise of 4 or 5 hours, and only then I was able to focus on my studies. I really wonder how illogical these people are, who do not know how their loud music can bother others. So that was the time when somebody made noise, and this was how I tackled that situation. In the beautiful journey of life, sometimes we lose our friends and sometimes we find them again unexpectedly. And at that time, the feelings are really very wonderful. It happened with me. Uh, in my class fifth, I had my best friend whose father got transferred at that time, and they went to some other city. As I was very young at the time, I was in my childhood. We didn't even had our phone numbers with us, which we could have shared to be in contact. So we lost our contact totally. And from time to time, I used to miss my best friend, but as I was having no other option to contact her, so I was trying my best to manage without her. And about 10 years, when about 10 years passed after the transfer of her father, once I went to Amritsar. I was there, and as I was in the corridor of Golden Temple, I heard someone calling my name. And when I turned behind, I saw I, there was a girl who was looking at me. And when she asked me if I was, means my name, she took my name. I said yes, and but I was not able to recognize her. And she told me her name, and I was totally not believing my luck, because my best friend, whom I had lost about 10 years ago, was standing in front of me. I couldn't recognize her because in her childhood she was quite plump, and after 10 years she had transformed in a very beautiful, slim girl. And we were so happy. We hugged each other. We were having tears in our eyes. It was really a very wonderful feeling. And I was thanking to God also, because I thought that I was at a religious place at Golden Temple, and my best friend met me there, whom I was not expecting at all. And then we exchanged our numbers, and now again we talk to each other, and we are same as we were in our childhood. So that is my friend whom I got back, whom I had thought that I had lost forever. We all are human beings, and human beings means we cannot be self-sustaining. And in our life, many times such circumstances occur which make us to do some volunteer work for the welfare of humankind. As we all know, COVID-19 is going over, and few months ago there was complete lockdown. At the time, nobody was allowed to go anywhere. There were no physical classes. Everything was being done online, or some works were totally shut. At the time, I was totally free. And one friend of mine, he called me, and he told me that as he has been a member of an NGO, that is Punarjot. This NGO works to remove blindness by making the people aware to donate their cornea. He told me that the conveners of that NGO, they were planning to release some magazine on the occasion of their completion of 25 years of the establishment of their NGO. And those conveners, they wanted someone who could translate some of their work into English. As I was good in English, thank God, and he asked me if I could do some work for them. I happily agreed, and they started sending me some work in Punjabi or in Hindi, which I was translating into English, and I was sending them online only. And after a few months, when that magazine was released, they sent me 2 copies of that magazine, and I was really very much amazed, and I was feeling a little bit proud also that I did something, though it was not a big job, but still I was feeling that I donated some of my time for some noble cause. So that was the time which when I did some volunteer work. In our life, at every turn, we have to take some decision. Sometimes some decisions are difficult to take, and some decisions are easily taken. And sometimes we take help of our parents, sometimes we take help from our friends. Normally, I take help from my parents, as I know they are much experienced and they would guide me in a good way. After class 12th, I was really in dilemma at the time. It had become very much difficult for me to decide what should I do after 12th, because some of my friends, they had decided to go abroad to pursue their studies, whereas some decided to stay in India only and to continue their study here only. And I was in 50-50 situation. Sometimes I wanted to go abroad, and sometimes I wanted to live in India and pursue my studies here only. And I was having no idea what should I do. It was as if I had totally lost my focus. And at the time, I talked to my parents and I asked them what should I do. They discussed everything with my teachers, and my teachers, they knew my potential. They told my parents that I should go with the first option of going abroad to pursue my studies, because my teachers told my parents that I was having the potential to go somewhere and I was responsible enough, so it would be easy for me to settle there, to adjust myself, to cope with the new culture in the new atmosphere. And my parents, they also gave their consent, and they guided me. They told me that I should continue to take coaching for my IELTS, so that I could crack this exam, and I could pursue my studies in some abroad, in some foreign country. So now I am sitting in front of you for this exam. So this was a decision which was quite difficult for me, and my parents, they, along with the help of my teacher, they guided me so well to take this decision.